to be midnight on, which is going to be Sunday now, isn't it? I just, like, my makeup's the biggest mess ever because I've had it on hours and I've been hot and then cold and then hot. But I thought I'm going to have to put some on my lips, and then I put this NARS product on. It's actually not showing its true colour. It's looking more brown than it is. And I put it on. Is it going to show the proper colour? Nope. And I put it on and it, oh my god, I'm dropping it. And it didn't really look right. So then I found a lipstick and put that on top, and it was like a lighter brown than what I just put on, and it still didn't look right. So then I found another lip product which was a pink. So I've got a combination of 3 lip products and lip colours, and 3 different types, because one was matte, one was like a sheer thing, and another one is a semi-matte, I think. So I've got on NARS, Rimmel and Soap and Glory. It's actually made quite a nice shape, but it's still not what I'm looking for. Not that I'm looking for anything, really. I just couldn't put anything brown on because it's like a smoky purple look, but it's like rubbing off, and yeah. Anyway, who wants to know about lipstick? So I'm getting my sore throat again. It eased off this morning and it was fine, and then about 2 hours ago I started to feel it. So I don't know what it is that's causing this sore throat, but I would like to know what's causing it, because it gets worse, and then I go to bed, and then every time I wake up and I swallow, it's like, it's not a scratchy feeling, it's just like this, I don't know how to explain it. It's just sore, and I don't know, but I would like to know why I've got it. I'm so stressed out today, and I'm trying to not be stressed out, but I mean, I'm always stressed to some extent, but different things stress me to different levels. And ever since I quit my job, even though I felt relieved to be finally away from there, and not just the way they were treating me, like listening to how negative they were about everyone else, and like watching them and like listening to them blackmail other staff. It was tough, and then all the illegal activity going on, I didn't want to be implicated by association, because working there, even though I'm not committing any crimes and they are, knowing about it is just making me feel like crap. And I mean, I didn't keep it to myself. A lot of the illegal activity that I saw, I did tell other people, because I don't want to get caught up in it, and I'm not taking part in any of it, but everyone else in the office does. So it was hard being there, because I don't ever do anything illegal like that, and I don't want to be there if like anything ever comes out. And then like Caroline, or Queen Caroline as I started to refer to her, not to her face obviously, she was like, she'd be like super nice to people, and then when they'd leave she'd be like, oh, they're a knob, or call them a dickhead, or all sorts of other things. And I'm thinking, you were just like super nice to them, and they've left, and you're saying stuff about them. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, if I didn't like someone, yeah, I'd be nice to them to a certain point, because when you work with people, you can't just ignore them or not treat them fairly. But to basically like be all over them, and then when they leave insult them, it's just like, and yeah, there were people that I preferred and people that I'd, rather not spend time with, but I didn't insult them to anyone when they left. I just kept my opinions and thoughts to myself. And yet, of course, I had favourites, and there were people that when they walked in, I was like, oh, like I was happy to see them, like genuinely, oh, like really happy to see them. And I was like, but the others were like fake nice to people. Like, you can be nice, but then there's that next level nice when you're being that nice, and then you're leaving and you know that that person doesn't like that person. And then you're thinking, well, why are you being so two-faced? You could just, like, I don't know, like, not go over the top with the niceness when they're in. You can be nice, but you don't need to be, like, extravagantly nice like they're being. And then as soon as they leave, she's like knob or dickhead or oh, I don't like them, or they make my skin crawl. And I'm like, seriously? I wouldn't even like get caught up in it, to be honest. I mean, I liked a lot of the people and I gave everyone like time, and obviously some like would want a lot of time, and I'd give it to them because, you know, sometimes people just come in and they want to chat, and it's like I do have a favourite, and she'd come in and I'd be just sat working and she would just come in and she'd be like the most down to earth person who didn't care what people thought about her or what she said, and she'd come in with like so much energy, and she'd just be like, she'd do and say things and it'd make me laugh and it would distract me, but you know, I liked it when she come in. Like the last time I saw her, well, it was the day I gave my resignation and I'd not give it in at this point, and she came in and had a bit of a chat with me and she was feeling a bit down because our manager put a lot of the carers in a really horrible situation where they took on this girl who's 26 who has a lot of mental issues, but also she knows what she's doing, so she kind of causes scenes or upsets people, and like everyone's like, oh, give her like leeway, she's got this, that and the other wrong with her, but she'd cause like drama and then she'd smile and like you knew she knew what she was doing. And like Debbie, our manager, would sometimes dump her in the office with the office staff, and it would put us under pressure because we have work to do. Well, I do, because the other two just piss around all the time. And she was constantly distracting us when we were working. And if you said anything to her about anything, like she'd ask you a question, he'd answer and she'd be like, why? Why? And you'd have to explain it because she'd just want everything explaining. And I was just like, I'm glad I'm in the other part of the office, in the side that management's sitting, because they would dump her in the other part of the office, so I didn't have to interact with her to that level. But she was just like very difficult and she'd burst into tears all the time. And like Debbie was like getting paid for like someone to be caring for her, but she'd just dump her in the office, so then she didn't have to pay a carer, so then they were like getting the money. And a lot of carers refused to go and look after her because she would lie about carers, and she always had to have two, and she weren't allowed males because she would just make up horrific lies about the males, but also she was making lies up about the females. So a lot of the females started to refuse to go and like look after her or do whatever she wanted to do, because a lot of the time she wanted to go out and the carers would take her places and stuff like that, and she would just start accusing people of all sorts of things, like ignoring her or saying things about her. And Debbie would get like people in and go, what have you said, and stuff like that, and then they'd have to like defend themselves, and Debbie couldn't really do anything about it because it'd be their word against this girl's. But Debbie kept saying to everyone in office, and she wouldn't say it to the other staff, like, obviously this girl lies all the time, I know she's lying, but I've still got to call people in. And this girl knew that all these staff were getting called in, and she was trying to basically get them all sacked. And obviously Debbie couldn't sack them because they'd not done anything, and she knew that, but she was still like calling them in and getting them to defend themselves. And really she shouldn't have took the package on, she should have said no, but when all the hassle started she should have stopped and like and passed her on to someone else, because she was causing a lot of problems with the staff and with the office. And Debbie were like taking like time out to take like seeing it outside the hours that we were meant to see her, and she was trying to put bills in it as well. It's like nothing's ever for free with Debbie, but she was like spending time with her when she shouldn't have been, and she was encouraging her. So then this girl was constantly ringing Debbie, and Debbie would be like coming in office and go, oh, such and such has been on the phone again, and like roll her eyes. And like people were saying, look, you need to not get involved with her, because she will, like, when one of these times you'll say no to her, she will accuse you or your partner of doing things because you're always alone with her. Like either Debbie or her partner, he would be alone with her, and it said when we got the package through not to let her alone with males because of what she accuses them of. So, like, Debbie was just like, they're all about money where I work, so that's why she took her on. And they were trying to get 24-hour care, but to be honest, no one would have been willing. Like, they struggled to get people to cover the 4 hours. And she normally had my favourite with either two, like, they'd go between 3 others to, like, double up with this person. So even she managed to fall out with this person who eventually agreed to start doing her again, like calls with her again. But then she went too far twice. Once she took an overdose. But the thing is, she always knew how many to take and how many, like, would be too many. So she knew what she was doing, and like everyone said, she knows what she's doing. It's just retention. So she took like a certain amount, knowing it wouldn't kill her, and got took to hospital. And then the final time when she got took off them because of it, she did something else. She took stuff. I can't say what it is on here because it's still being investigated, but she took a lot of stuff in front of my favourite and the other one, and it affected my favourite carer so much that she needs counselling. And my manager's got this woman who comes in who's training to be a counsellor, and I thought she was a really nice woman until one day she came in and started absolutely slandering 3 or 4 people from another place, not another care company, but from somewhere that looks after people and, like, I don't know, like, kind of advises them and points them in the right direction and gets them stuff that they need. And she was absolutely slandering these 4 people with Queen Caroline, who used to be the manager at this place. And I just sat there thinking, you're meant to be professional, you work for Blackburn Council, and you're supposed to advise people. She's not a counsellor. She's like, you, from what I've been told, you go to her and say, I want to do such and such, or I want this, that and the other, and she goes off and researches it and gets you the contacts that you need, and that's what she does. But she's also training to be a counsellor, and she's currently done level 2 and she wants to do level 3. And my manager kept saying, oh, this woman, she's called Carol Ward, is a counsellor, but it turns out she's not. And she's been, like, letting staff go to her to talk about their problems, but she's not a qualified counsellor. And I'm thinking, you're getting someone to talk to carers who have witnessed all sorts of things, like people dying or people with, like, illnesses that are killing them and things like that. And they also witness people dying because obviously it's end of life stuff. And you're letting them go and speak to her about how they're feeling, but she's not qualified. But what also disturbed me was the fact that she came in the office that day. It was about a month ago. And it wasn't even a month ago, it was like probably 3 weeks ago. And slandered all these people who do a similar job to her. And I was just like, I can't believe, like, with the job you have, and like that you said you're training to be a counsellor and you want to be a counsellor, I can't believe you would come in and in front of people in the office and people potentially coming in and out, you're slandering people and actually saying the full names in front of me, so I could potentially tell these people what you're saying because you actually work with these people. I just thought it was so unprofessional, but I also thought Debbie was doing something illegal or morally incorrect by letting carers who have witnessed deaths or whatever talk to her, because the reality is she's not qualified. So because my favourite carer, Marie, witnessed this girl do this thing, she did an overdose, it affected her so much that Debbie's had to get a proper qualified counsellor. And really, Debbie and the business should pay for how many counselling sessions Marie needs, but all she's willing to pay for is one, which I think's out of order because she's put the staff in these situations. And it's just, she knew that this girl was like this because she's well known for doing overdoses. She's done several. It was shocking that she's put people in this position where they're going to witness something, and when they haven't, it's affected them. She's not willing for the company, and they'd get the money back off the tax return, not willing to pay for more than one counselling session, which I think's shocking, because I think it would take more than one, because I'm pretty sure when you go for your first counselling appointment, it's just a bit about getting to know what you want and what's happened. I don't think you talk about what's happened and how it's affecting you and stuff. So to only pay for one, I just think's out of order, because she's actually put the carers in this position with this young girl who was doing all sorts of things. I mean, there was a Christmas party, which if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll all know I got too sick to go to this party, which kind of irritated me, because I'd worked hard and I was ill and I was rushing around, I was doing this, that and the other, and I thought I finally get an easier day at work. Obviously I'll have to help at the party, but I'm not having to like answer 5,000 phone calls or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I get to go. So basically she invited this girl to this party because it was for the service users, but this girl isn't allowed around males. We have male carers, so you can probably guess what actually happened. So what happened was, this girl, and she's very manipulative, and she kind of creates these situations for herself, and I've seen her do it. I didn't see her do it this at the party, but when I knew she was going to be there, I thought something's going to happen, because there's males there and someone's going to talk to her, and she's going to take something they've said the wrong way, and the whole hell is going to break loose. So we used to have a carer called Curtis, who's 23, who Caroline doesn't like. That's who she was calling a knob. I actually told Debbie, and Debbie didn't care, but if it was me you'd called him a knob, she would have come down on me about it, because it's Queen Caroline, she can say and do what she wants. That's why she's been allowed to bully me for months. So Curtis was at this party, so this girl made a beeline for Curtis, and Curtis is like, he's got the gift of the gab. You can like sit and chat with him, and you can like take the piss out of each other, and he don't take it the wrong way, and he wants to join the police. But now, because of Kellyanne and because Debbie putting him in this position, he's going to have something on his record which will mean he can't join the police. So what happened was, Kellyanne gave him her phone number. You can probably guess where this is going. As a carer, Curtis shouldn't have, well, he shouldn't have taken a number, but taking a number, that's fine, as long as you don't do anything. So then Kellyanne totally set him up and started to text him really suggestive things, and as a young lad, he responded, obviously without thinking, she's a service user for the company I work for. If she wasn't like a service user for our company and it was someone else's, I think he wouldn't be getting in trouble. But basically what happened was, she led him on and pictures were sent back and forth. As soon as she got him to send pictures, she was straight on to Debbie. So that goes to show it was premeditative. She had planned this, and she basically sent them to Debbie, who then proceeded to show all office staff. And I was impressed when she showed me her phone and I saw what I saw. I was like, I don't want to see that. After everything I've been through, I definitely don't want to see that. But she showed me, and I was a little bit horrified by that. And the fact that she felt the need to show so many staff members, I just thought was wrong. So he got immediately suspended, and she had to safeguard it, because she knew if she didn't, this girl was going to tell a social worker, which she did literally at the same time. So she told Debbie and a social worker, because obviously she'd set this situation up. She knew what she was going to do. She was trying to get Curtis sacked, but she was also trying to get Debbie in trouble. So eventually Curtis did get Well, to be honest, I don't know how they sacked him because Curtis was self-employed, but they don't seem to understand self-employment. You just don't give him any more work. But they made this big song and dance about disciplining him and sacked him. And he's going to get a record now because obviously he's a carer at that care agency. Even though he wasn't her carer, he still crossed the line by doing what he did, and she'd set it up. But really, Debbie shouldn't have let her come to the party and be around male carers. Or it wasn't just carers there were loads of people there who, like, they had a choir come and they tried to get the newspaper there because they seek media coverage at all opportunities because they want the world to know how amazing they are and how they do this, that and the other for the service users. But they don't do it for the service users, they do it for the glory. They're all in it for the glory. Every time they do something, she contacts the paper about it because she just wants to be all over the paper. That's what they do, that's what they're after. They're constantly seeking attention. So not only were they there was a photographer there was all sorts of people there who don't have DBS checks. So they've put this vulnerable young girl who does create these situations herself, but they've put her at this party and they've invited loads of people. They've invited loads of people to make themselves look good, like the local media and all sorts of other people who shouldn't necessarily have been round her anyway, but they should never have put her there knowing that there's male workers going there, male carers, but also people who've never had a DBS check who could have been this, that. No, it's like they've got a carer working there who's got a criminal record for exposure. So he shouldn't be allowed round, like, he shouldn't be allowed to work there because he's got a criminal record for exposure. I mean, do you know what I mean? But because I can't even say why he got the job, but if I said his first name and I said the owner's first name, you would realise why he's allowed to work there, even though he's been done for indecent exposure. And yeah, there's a lot of really dodgy things going on there, and I'm glad I'm not there, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't appreciate, like, sitting at my desk and all of a sudden having a picture thrust in my face of a man with no clothes on. Like, I don't want to see that, and she shouldn't really be going around showing everyone what she showed them, but she also shouldn't have took on this girl knowing what she's like, and then when all the incidents started to happen, because it went on for months, she should have just said no. Like, so now all these people are suffering. Curtis won't ever be able to get in the police because he's gonna get a record for what he's done. Marie is suffering because she did this overdose in front of her, and other staff members have been, like, accused of all sorts of stuff. She's put her in the office with us, and we've had to, like, every time we say something, she's like, why, and she's like, you're constantly having to explain things to her. But even Debbie said, like, she knows what she's doing. She manipulates everyone. She creates these situations. So Debbie shouldn't have done this, and they're all about money. It's just money, money, money with them. It's like, how can we save money? How can we make more money for ourselves? And it's like they get a lot of, like, the private work, and they get them to make the checks out to them personally. So then it goes into their personal bank account in Debbie's, because he won't let it go into his, because he's setting Debbie up for the fall in case it all comes out. So it all goes into, like, not declaring a third of their income, and it just goes into Debbie's bank account permanently. It's never made out to the business. The only, like, because they get a lot of work off the NHS and the council, that's the only payments that go into their official business account. The rest of them go into Debbie's personal account because he's setting her up for the fall. It's like when it's wages day and they're, like, fiddling it all, it's like Debbie's doing it. It's never him. So I can see what he's doing. He's setting her up for the fall. But, you know, she's got the house in her name and it's not in his, so she's not as stupid as she makes out. She constantly, like, makes out she don't understand things when I'm sat there. And you can tell she does. Like, it's obvious she does. But I'm so stressed out, even now that I've left, because of the threats Caroline made to me. She's like, if HMRC come in or the police come in, we'll all know it's you. And I'm like, I've not even done anything. I've never said I was going to do anything. And it's like they've got my medication, and she was threatening to tell my ex where I work, and she was also threatening to tell my former boss where I work. So, like, even one day she's like, oh, have you seen your ex outside? I'm like, no, why would I see him outside? She went, well, I might have told him where you're working. And I'm like, have you? She went, I might have done. I said, well, when I saw him a couple of days ago and he was like having a go at me, I know for a fact if you told him where I work, he would have told me, because he would enjoy looking, like seeing the look on my face when I realised that he knew and I'd have to leave my job. So she just kept on threatening me, and that's why I did quit as well. That's like one of the main reasons, as well as how they were treating me and how it was affecting my mental health, and how all this illegal activity was going on and the mistreatment of staff. I just couldn't watch it anymore. And I'm just so stressed out because I know I'm going to have to ring the police and tell them about my missing medication, well, my stolen medication, and how they've refused to pay me my wage. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want the police back in my life. But they've got my medication, and my doctor, even when I show the message, she's not going to be happy because, you know, I'm not really allowed that much medication. Well, I'm allowed more than I used to be allowed, but still, like, she's careful what she gives me, because I did make a mistake a year ago and I'm still paying for that mistake. I'm not allowed a large amount of medication. But I just feel like I don't want to tell the police, but I'm going to have to tell the police because they got my medication. And then it's like, do I tell them about the threats that Caroline was making to me and what everything else that's going on there? Like, I don't know what I'm meant to do. And they're fully aware of, like, stuff that's gone on. And I think my dad said that he told the inspector that was always in charge of me, he said that he told him that there was stuff going on there that wasn't very nice, and that he told my dad that I should leave. And I've told other people stuff about what's going on, because I don't always keep everything to myself anymore. It just depends what it is. Sometimes I do keep things to myself, sometimes I don't. But a lot of people notice that, like, I'm stressed after I go to work, or I'm stressed before I go to work and stuff. So I have been telling people what's been going on there, because there has been a lot of illegal activity going on there, but also, like, a lot of bad treatment for other staff as well as me. But I don't know who I'm meant to tell about how other staff get treated. Like, I don't think it's necessarily something the police deal with, is bad treatment of workers, but I don't know. And, like, they rip people off and they refuse to give them the full wage and stuff like that, especially when they're disciplining them about stuff. They don't give them the full wage. So I'm just, like, concerned that I know that I'm going to have to tell the police that they've stolen my medication, because codeine is a class B drug, and it's a controlled drug, and they've taken it off me and they're not giving it me back. And I need it. I don't just, like, have it for the fun of it. I don't just carry it around and go. Because I actually took it at work, and that's why I forgot it. That's why I left it there, because I was trying to get out of there. I didn't want to be there. There was an atmosphere, and the owner was like, he's not happy with me because I quit. And even when I was leaving, I went by and he didn't really want to know, because he's used to getting his own way, and he forced me to stay there in end of November. He put me in a very difficult situation. And they had me in tears for days, and I was very emotional at the time, and I backed down and carried on working there when I should have walked. And he was just being really horrible to me, and, like, he's super nice and over friendly with everyone, but he is all about the money and the profit, and everyone was just getting treated so differently in the office. Well, not everyone, it was me who was getting treated like crap, and the other two getting treated like they were amazing. But I'm just so stressed, and I shouldn't be stressed because I've left, but I'm stressed out because I know I'm going to have to ring the police tomorrow and tell them about my missing medication, but also about some of the situations that were going on there, and I don't want to do that. But people like my doctor have said I need to tell them what is going on, and I don't want to, because I don't want the police in my life again. I don't want all that. Like, I just don't want it, but I don't know what else I'm meant to do.